Welcome to another video of origins. This video is part of our nicheless series, and we'll be covering the origins of coffee. Make sure to stay all the way to the end for some bonus content. As always, be sure to like, subscribe, and be notified. We are posting new videos all the time. And now, let's go ahead with the video. The origins of coffee. There are many stories involving the discovery of coffee, but nobody is certain of the facts. Ethiopian legends. The history of coffee cultivation dates back many millennia to the old coffee forests on the Ethiopian plateau. The goat herder Kaldi is said to have discovered the potential of these well-loved beans there. According to legend, Kaldi discovered coffee after seeing that his goats become so energized after consuming the berries from a particular tree that they refused to go to sleep at night. The local monastery's abbot accepted Kaldi's observations and used the berries to make a beverage. He discovered that it kept him awake throughout the prolonged hours of nightly prayer. The revitalizing berries became known after the abbot informed the other monks at the monastery about his discovery. Word spread eastward, and coffee eventually made it to the Arabian Peninsula, where it started a voyage that would take the beans all over the world. The Peninsula of Arabia. The Arabian Peninsula was the origin of coffee trade and cultivation. Coffee was being grown in the Yemeni region of Arabia by the 15th century. And by the 16th century, it was well known in Persia, Egypt, Syria, and Turkey. Coffee was consumed not only in homes but also in the numerous kahvekhane, or public coffee houses, that started to spring up in cities all across the Near East. People frequented the coffee shops for all types of social interaction because of their unmatched popularity. In addition to drinking coffee and conversing, the customers also enjoyed music, performances, chess, and keeping up with the news. Coffee shops immediately rose to prominence as significant hubs for knowledge sharing, earning the moniker schools of the wise. Knowledge of this wine of Araby grew as a result of the tens of thousands of pilgrims from all over the world who visit the holy city of Mecca each year. Europe gets coffee. Travelers from Europe to the Near East returned with tales of an unique dark, black liquor. Coffee arrived in Europe in the 17th century and spread to other parts of the continent. Some people reacted negatively to this new beverage, labeling it as the bitter invention of Satan, out of mistrust or dread. In Venice in 1615, when coffee first arrived, the local clergy forbade its use. It became so heated that Pope Clement VIII was requested to step in. Before making a judgment, he chose to taste the drink for himself. Because the drink was so fulfilling, he awarded it his seal of approval. Despite this debate, coffee shops in the major cities of England, Austria, France, Germany, and Holland were swiftly evolving into hubs of social interaction and communication. In England, establishments known as penny universities arose because a cup of coffee and enlightening discourse could be had for just 1 penny. Beer and wine, which were popular at the period as breakfast drinks, started to be replaced by coffee. The quality of their work was significantly higher because those who drank coffee instead of alcohol were more awake and enthusiastic when the day started. We like to consider this to be the forerunner of the contemporary workplace coffee service. The modern era. Coffee arrived in New Amsterdam, which the British eventually renamed New York, around the middle of the 1600s. Tea remained the preferred beverage in the New World despite the quick emergence of coffee houses until 1773. When the colonists rose up in opposition to a high tax on tea imposed by King George III. The Boston Tea Party uprising would permanently alter American coffee consumption habits. The preferred beverage of the civilized world is coffee. Theodore Jefferson. Plantations in different countries. There was intense competition to grow coffee outside of Arabia as the beverage's popularity grew. In the latter half of the 17th century, the Dutch at last received seedlings. They were unsuccessful in their initial attempts to plant them in India, but they were successful in Batavia, on the island of Java in what is now Indonesia. The plants prospered, and the Dutch soon had a successful and expanding trade in coffee. The cultivation of coffee trees was then extended to the islands of Sumatra and Celebes. Visiting the Americas. King Louis XIV of France received a seedling coffee plant as a gift in 1714 from the mayor of Amsterdam. Its planting at Paris Royal Botanical Garden was mandated by the king. Gabriel de Clieu, a young naval officer, acquired a seedling from the king's plant in 1723. He transported it successfully to Martinique despite a difficult journey that included bad weather, a saboteur who attempted to kill the seedling, and a pirate raid. The seedling not only flourished after being planted, but it is also credited for causing the spread of approximately 18 million coffee trees on the island of Martinique during the following 50 years. The fact that this seedling gave rise to all coffee trees in the Caribbean, South, and Central America is even more astounding. Francisco de Melo Puleda, who was sent by the emperor to French Guiana to procure coffee seedlings, is responsible for the creation of the renowned Brazilian coffee. The French governor's wife, who was taken with his good looks, gave him a sizable bouquet of flowers before he left. Concealed inside were enough coffee seeds to launch what is now a billion-dollar business. Despite the French's unwillingness to share, the flowers were enough to start what is now a thriving industry. Coffee seeds were still being transported to new areas by missionaries, explorers, traders, and colonists, and coffee plants were being planted all over the world. Both gorgeous tropical woods and untamed mountain highlands were used as the sites for plantations. Some crops were successful, while others had limited lifespans. On the basis of coffee economies, new countries were founded. Wealth was gained and lost. Coffee was one of the most lucrative export crops in the world at the end of the 18th century. Coffee is the most sought-after commodity in the world after crude oil. And now here is the bonus. History's 5 attempts to ban coffee. 1. Mecca. In 1511, coffee was outlawed in Mecca because the governor feared it may strengthen his opposition. It was thought that coffee encouraged radical thought and behavior. 2. Italy. When coffee first came to Europe in the 16th century, priests pushed for its outlawment and satanic labeling. However, Pope Clement VIII tried some, pronounced it delightful, and even joked that it ought to be baptized. 3. Constantinople. As soon as Murad IV assumed control of the Ottoman throne in 1623, he outlawed coffee and instituted a system of justifiable punishments. 4. Sweden. In 1746, coffee was banned in Sweden. Additionally, coffee paraphernalia was outlawed, with police seizing cups and platters. King Gustav III even mandated that criminals on death row consume coffee while medical professionals timed how long the coffee took to kill them, which was excellent for the criminals but tedious for the medical professionals. 5. Russia. Frederick the Great of Prussia published a declaration in 1777 asserting the superiority of beer to coffee. He said that coffee affected the nation's beer consumption, perhaps anticipating that a royal proclamation would encourage Prussians to crave an energizing brew every morning. This was all for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the video. Is there a place or anything that you would like to know the origins? Please tell us in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and get notified if you enjoy the video. It would mean a lot to me. Thank you for watching. See you next time.